Okay, so today we are going to make a keychain that you are going to laser cut. So this is your introduction into using CAD software to actually create and then fabricate an object on our laser cutter. So let's get to it. I'm going to walk you step by step through it. If you do have any issues or something I'm showing you here in the video doesn't work, just scream and grab me in the classroom, and I am more than happy to come and help you. Don't kind of linger and get stuck on something. Just ask me for help, and we'll get you moving quickly through this project. So in the classroom, prior to you sitting down in front of the computer, we went over some of the basics of this CAD software. Your screen should look like this. If there's a grid pattern on it, that's okay. If you don't like that, let me know and I can get rid of it. You'll notice there's sort of nothing on it. I had talked about planes in the classroom. There's no planes here that you see. And that's because they're turned off. And you can see this little eyeball icon right here with a kind of a line through it. That's telling me that those planes are shut off right now. If I just click on that, they come back on for me. And so now I can work with them. So as we said in the classroom, the first thing we're going to do is begin with a two-dimensional drawing. We do that by coming up to the sketch icon here. I'm just going to click on it. And now I have to choose one of these three planes. I'm going to choose this one right here. It's sort of in between the red x-axis and the green y-axis. So I'm just going to click on it. And then you can see it kind of puts itself in a way that I'm looking straight down onto that plane. Now we're going to draw our rectangle around this origin point right here. So we'll come up to this Create menu, click it to open it up, and then we're going to hover over the rectangle option, and you'll see this other pop-out or fly-out menu, and we want to choose the center rectangle. So I'm just going to click it, and now here's sort of where a lot of students have issues, so try and do it exactly as we're doing here. You're going to hover over the center point here. So we're not just get the mouse so that you see that little blue rectangle showing up, and then you'll click the mouse once and drag up and to the right. Now don't click again. At this point, it's almost best to take your hand off the mouse. You'll notice down below there's a little blue box, or the white box with the blue highlighting. We don't need to click in there or anything. You can simply start typing the dimensions that we need. The first dimension here at the bottom is going to be 3.5. Now I didn't hit enter, I just typed in 3.5. The next thing I'm going to do is hit the tab key on my keyboard, and you'll see that the highlighted option is switched to the left here, the left dimension string, and so I can then simply, without clicking in there, type 1.5. And now the rectangle is sort of adjusted to the sizes that I've given it. Now just note, I've only clicked the mouse the one time to start this. Now that I have my numbers in the dimension strings, all I have to do is hit the enter key, and there we go. I've got my perfectly dimensioned rectangle that I want for this project. If for some reason this doesn't work for you, please raise your hand, ask me a question, and I will come and help you. But generally it's because students have clicked too many times. If you do find yourself something's going wrong, there's a couple things we can do. Number one, and I'm going to go back. We'll grab that tool one more time. And let's just say I go in here and, I accidentally clicked. And this is what happens if you click a second time. It doesn't allow you to put the dimensions into the rectangle. And then now I'm like trying to kind of click again and do it, but I'm still drawing rectangles. Kind of what's wrong here. What's wrong is that we're still in the rectangle tool, and if you see your cursor, or my cursor here on the screen, there's a little arrow with some crosshairs, and just below that you'll see the little rectangle symbol. In order to exit the tool, so you could select something and then delete it, you need to hit the caps lock key on your keyboard. When I do that, you'll notice that my that little tool goes away, and I've got my mouse here. And now I can actually just drag across all these things and hit the delete key, and they'll go away. There is also, let's just do that one more time. That's again like, oh, I've made this mistake. I can always just come to the back button here. That's the undo button, and if I hit that, it should go away. So let's recreate this rectangle one more time the correct way. Hover over, see the blue box, click once and drag up and to the right, type in 3.5, hit your tab key, type in 1.5, hit the enter key. Now I've got my rectangle. Now I want to move from this 2D sketching area to the three-dimensional area. So I'm going to click on the Finish Sketch check mark here. There we go. And we're going to use our extrude tool. This is what will like pull this geometry out of the 2D plane and create 3D geometry. So I will click on it. You'll notice this pop-up menu here. I'll just bring it over here, make it easier. We need to choose a profile. This kind of interior area of the rectangle is our profile, so I'll just click here. And now it's asking for how tall do we want this to be. We want it to be 0.125. Okay. Once you've got that in there, everything else here should read as I have it here. New body, 0.125 distance, all that should be the same as in here. You can click OK. All right, so now we've got this. I'm going to go ahead and turn my planes off, the central origin planes. We don't need them anymore, so we just come back over to this origin icon where the little eyeball is, and I'm just going to click the eyeball, and that'll go away. We don't need it anymore. Now the next thing I'd like to do is round these corners. These are kind of harsh edged corners. I don't really want those. I want more curved corners on this. So we're going to come up to the Modify menu, and we're going to choose the Fillet tool right here. Now in order to use the Fillet tool, I need to click on the exact corner line here. So it's just this kind of up and down line that is the corner. And I'm going to click on this for all four corners. And just be careful you're getting this line. We don't want any other geometry like this highlighted area we don't want, or we don't want that line or anything else. Just this up and down line here. And you'll have to kind of zoom in and out to get to it. And I'm using my scroll wheel on my mouse to zoom in and out. And you can actually choose it through the object here, just like this. There we go. So now I should see four edges selected here. And we can put in as the distance, the radius value, let's try 0.5. And there we go. Now I like 0.5, you may not like 0.5. You could make it less if you want, so let's just see what does 0.2 look like. See, not quite as rounded. Or what about 0.8? It doesn't like 0.8, does it? Is that right? Hold on, 0.7. There we go. 0.8 was too much. 0.7, you could see if you like that. So anywhere kind of between 0.1 and 0.7, you could choose a number that you like. I'm going to go ahead and stick with 0.5. I like that. It looks nice to me, but again, feel free to choose whichever number you want within that range. Once you're happy with the way it looks, let's go ahead and click OK. Now we need to add our name to this, and the way we're going to do that is actually by drawing a new two-dimensional sketch on the top surface of this object that we've created. So if you remember how we initially started drawing a sketch in the beginning of this video, we're going to go up to the sketch menu, or the sketch icon here, click on it, and now I'm just going to click on the actual top of my model, and that'll allow me to draw a 2D drawing directly on top. So here we go, well, we're selecting it, and now we're looking straight down on the top of the model. And I'm just using the scroll wheel to zoom in to that model. Now we'll come back to the Create menu, and we're going to choose the Text tool right here. So click on Text, and what we're going to do is I'm going to kind of bring my, let's see here, mouse right about here. I don't want to connect anything, so see how like that's connecting there? We don't want to do that. We just want to kind of get in the top corner here, click, and then drag all the way kind of to the bottom corner here-ish, something like that, and go ahead and click. Now you'll see this pop-up menu. We're going to type in whatever you want. It can be your name, it can be a friend's name, it's up to you. Obviously school appropriate, but so I'm just going to put in my name, Mr. L, and we're going to choose the font. We have it's called Stencilia. It's a stencil font which you need to use. Otherwise your text won't work out very well on the laser cutter. So scroll down until you find Stencilia, and we're going to use that. Now you can see my text is looks a little small. We can fix that. I also need to center my text. So let's start with centering it first. Here you can see on the bottom of the pop-out menu we've got alignment tools. So I'm going to choose the align center, and that's centering it in the horizontal direction here in the box, and then I want to center it in the vertical direction, and that is this align middle button here. So now it's in the middle of this object. I want to make it a little bigger, so here we can adjust it via the height. Now as we adjust the height, the width of it's going to change, so we're going to have to guess a little bit in terms of how big we want this. I'm going to type in 0.75, and oops, I got too many points in there. There we go. And that seems to work out pretty well for me. I like that height, and I like that size. The more letters you have, the longer the word is that you're creating here, the smaller your text is going to need to be, because it's going to have to be wider. So just be aware of that. Once you're happy with this, as I am, go ahead and hit OK. The next thing we want to do is add a little cutout circle for the keychain kind of to be held through the loop. So we're going to come up here to the Create menu. We're going to choose Circle, Center Point Circle. And then I'm just going to come over to kind of this corner here, and we can actually do it anywhere. I'll just put it here for now. I'm going to click once, drag out, and you'll notice the blue highlighted area in the box. Again, I can simply just type a number in without clicking anymore. So I'm just going to type in 0.25. And once the circle is adjusted to that size, I'm just going to hit Enter on the keyboard. And there we go. Now, I don't love the placement here exactly, and I didn't try and place it perfectly in the beginning. I wanted to get the circle sized first. Now if I just come and grab the center part of the circle, I'm going to click on it. Whoops, missed it. Just click, and now I can move it around. So maybe it's somewhere like here. Just like that. So now kind of that is kind of in the corner there. If you could put it in the middle if you want. You can really put this anywhere you want. I'm choosing to put it kind of off and to the side here. That's just my preference. Again, you can put this circle wherever you'd like, whatever looks good to you. Once you're happy with the way everything is, we're going to go ahead and finish this two-dimensional sketch by clicking on the Finish Sketch button here. And the last thing is we need to cut the letters, the text, and the circle out of our part, because we want the laser cutter to cut that part out. So we're going to use the Extrude tool one last time here. So we'll click on Extrude, and I'm going to click on the interior of my circle, and I'm going to click on my text. And what you'll notice here is it's asking me to like use the arrow. If I pull upwards, you'll kind of see it's like pulling that geometry outwards, sort of like we did in the first operation with a rectangle. But if I go the opposite direction, downwards, it's going to initiate what's called a cut. And you can see the operation here is turned to a cut. If I go back up here just so you can see, it's become a join. It's connecting the two geometries. But if I go downwards through it, it's turned to a cut. So just drag that arrow downwards any distance past the bottom of your part. You can see I'm well past it here. It doesn't really matter how far, as long as you're just beyond the bottom here of your part. Once you've done that, go ahead and click OK. And here you'll notice that geometry has been cut from the main piece, and that's what we're looking for. Now we can create an image of this that will be cut on the laser cutter. The way we do that is by creating what's called a drawing, and we'll show you how to do that right now. We're going to go up to the design menu here and move down to the drawing option. Whoops, I lost it. Choose from design. And you can title it with your name, Mr. L. I'm going to do Mr. L Keychain. And I'm going to put the date. You don't need to do this, but I'm going to. 10/21. And I'm going to click on Save. Now, full assembly, create new from scratch. That's fine. That's fine. Change your sheet size to A 8.5 by 11 and click OK. It's going to do some thinking here. And we should get a piece of paper. There it is. Now the first thing we're going to do is, you can see there's something attached to my mouse now. That is the project, even though we're seeing it from an angle that we normally don't see it from, or when we were drawing it. Just move this to the center of your piece of paper and click to place it. So it should be placed right here. You'll see it's kind of still highlighted here. That's fine. We're going to come over to this new pop-up menu that's shown up here. I want to change the orientation to this guy right here, top. And now you can see the whole thing showing up. The other thing I want to make sure is the scale says 1:1. So just make sure those options are top and 1:1. And when you're ready with that, you can click OK. The last thing we need to do is all this other stuff we need to get rid of. So I'm just going to bring my cursor here. I'm going to select this, just click it, and hit the delete button. And then I'm going to come over to this part here, select it, and hit delete. Now there should be nothing left on the sheet, just our drawing. And it doesn't matter, you can move it to the middle. That's all we need, just like that. So there we go. We've got it set here, and this is kind of what we need in terms of transferring this over to the laser cutter. We're going to go ahead.
Okay, so we're ready to save this as a version or a file that we can use on the laser cutter. So we're going to go up to this option here, PDF, and click on it. Go ahead and check the open PDF, so it will open an image for us that we can look at after we save it. Click OK. Now, up here in name, go ahead and just type in your name. You can leave type as PDF files. Don't change that. Here, it doesn't matter. So just make sure this is unchecked. We do not want that checked, this little box. This doesn't matter. This checkbox right here, save to my computer, we do want it checked. So just make sure it is checked. It is, so we're good here. And then we're going to come on over to this little box here with the 3 dots in it, and we're just going to click it. Now this is going to bring up a Finder window. And in this Finder window, you are going to have something that says Google Drive. That's what you're going to click on. It's a little different because this is my own personal computer. You're going to see me click on this engineering one, but for you, you should be clicking on Google Drive. So go ahead and click on that now. And then you'll go to My Drive, and you should see a bunch of student names here. You're just going to scroll down until you find the Exploratory folder and double click to enter it. And then here, you should just double check that your file is right here, Mr. L PDF, and you're just going to go ahead and click on the Save button, and that'll save the file there. It'll also probably bring up, it did on my other screen here, a PDF version, of your of your file, and that's fine. You just want to view it, make sure it looks right, and then you can just click it to go away.
As a group, if you finish this and there's still time left in class, you're going to move on to the next item, and that will be in our class website. You can ask me if you're unsure where that is. I'm going to show you real quick, though. You'll go to our website, mvthsengineering.com. We'll go to the student area, Fusion 360 tutorials. And here the next option for you to work on is the Lego block video. So you'll go ahead and start working on the Lego block video next. Hope it was easy enough for you to create your keychain. Please let me know if you have any questions, and we'll be laser cutting these either today or the next class. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.